And welcome to Discourse on Global Television. We talk about very trendy conversations that pertains to our economy and all the sectors of our nation. Today we're talking about one of the recent happenings in Nigeria, and that is the insecurity we have been facing. We want to talk about insecurity and the urgent needs to rebuild Nigeria's security agencies. Now, for many Nigerians, fear has become the order of the day. It has become part of our daily lives, from the kidnapping stories to the banditry stories, to cyber crimes and what have you, communal conflicts, and the violent extremism that has been ravaging our nation. It has become a norm in our day. But beyond the headlines lies a deeper problem, and that is the growing mistrust between citizens and institutions meant to protect them. Today I want to talk about, or want to ask some critical questions. How possible is it for Nigerians to rebuild trust in our security agencies, to restore collaboration, to restore collaborations with both communities, and ultimately to strengthen Nigeria's overall security architecture? To help us unpack this, I am joined today with a security expert. You get to see him after this break. Please stay with us.
Very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
as always, it's a pleasure to have you. Join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Alpo.
You know how we do it on Teacher Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss, and of course...
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
Peaceful and joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on...
Men can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as
a numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Face-to-Face is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time, where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to
world leaders in United
Welcome
Nigeria
to Entertainment Circle. And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television.
One of them is that platform where we bring young and talented artists.
Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV Channel 365, on Star Times Channel 276.
Very much for still being here with us. If you're just tuning in, this is Discourse on Global Television. We're talking about insecurity and rebuilding trust in our security agencies. We're joined by a security expert, Dr. Yahuza Getso. He is a security intelligence and investigation expert. He's also a community-driven development professional, forest intelligence therapist, and a consultant for crime prevention in hard-to-reach and difficult terrains. Dr. Getso, thank you so much for joining us on Discourse today.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon once again.
Okay, let's begin with the basics. From your professional experience, what would you say is the root cause of the trust deficit between citizens and our security agencies?
Well, I can write books of chapters and volumes in respect to that, but maybe I'll just outline few. One, behavioral perspective, how the security brag, the security agencies, you will see a military zone, keep up. Officer's wife, keep up. Officer's girlfriend, keep up. Officer's car, keep up. Officer in the restaurant, stay away. So all this nonsense and nuisance of the security personnel made it very difficult for the large population to stay away, and they lose confidence and trust in them. That is one. Two, corruption. You see them participating in corrupt practices, like collecting money on the roads, pricing drivers based on what they are carrying, based on loads and based on the type of vehicle the driver is driving. Also compromises. They were found being compromising in so many aspects between the complainant and the dependent. And at the same time, connivance between the judiciary and many of the security personnel, especially that of police, civil defense, and the rest of them. Begging. Many of the security personnel, both men and officers, you find them participating in direct and indirect lobbying, begging. Number 6, use of impunity. They want to use force, maximum force, against the ordinary persons. These have made it very, very difficult. And when they put their heads together, whether they are the ones that is on the right thing or doing the wrong thing, as far as because they are wearing uniform or they have the identification or they are staff of one agency or the other, have made it very difficult for them to remain calm and professional, because it is not their services orientation or training that builds them to be what they are. No, it is behaviorally perspective that they are doing it themselves. They are being complicit. Many of them are found in the complicit, and also partnership with criminals and collaboration. There are many instances where many unscrupulous elements among the security agencies, security personnel, both officers and men, were found collaborating, corroborating, and partnering with the criminals, the bandits, the ISWAP, the Boko Haram, the Ansaru, the Lakurawa, and so on and so forth. Almost almost all types of criminals, phone snatchers, armed robbers, high assassins, and so on and so forth. They were found wanting. Even recently, one Air Force officer was nabbed at along either Kaduna, Abuja, or Kaduna, Kanu, carrying arms to the criminals. And there are many unscrupulous elements. They are very honest, very sincere, very hardworking, nobles, highly professional, competent, who never participate in any of these outlined. Some they are not in uniform. But you realize that many, even if they are not in uniform, they try to brag and show you that they are officers. They are men from one agency or the other. So you cannot even go around friending a girlfriend that is being dated by an officer or either men or officers of any of the agencies. It is not peculiar to police, a Nigerian Army, Nigerian Air Force, DSS, Nigerian Navy also. All of them, including the custom, the immigration, and so on. Even though the behavior attitude, the strength of the behavior range from one agency personnel to the other. So I don't know, probably if it is it may be the orientation, or probably because of one reason or another that we may not have time to discuss in details. So, if you take a complaint, what matters is how much you have, how much you are ready to offer. It's not how honest you are. It's not either you are cheated or so. These are some of the reasons that I can outline for now. There are many things. There are huge, many things that made the public to lose trust and confidence. And at the same time, when we look at the general perspective on the performance of the security agencies in curtailing and managing the insecurity in Nigeria, especially that of Northwest, North Central, Northeast, South, and so on and so forth, considering the fact that those who are committing the atrocities, the criminals, I mean, are known by the respective communities where they are committing the offenses. And the members of the communities knows that the security personnel working around the area, they know these criminals who are selling narcotics, who are supplying narcotics, who are supplying essential goods, who are supplying foods, who are supplying medical supplies, and so on and so forth to the criminals, or who are supplying the narcotics and so on and so forth, including the arms and ammunition. The public know who they are, know the criminals, and sometimes there were incidences when I was conducting some researches related to the supply of narcotics. I sampled Katsina, Niger, Kaduna, and Ibadan, Aba, and Enugu. So in those places where I sampled, I mostly observed, and I saw it myself, when a van of security agency will come around and drive around the area where the drugs and narcotics are being sold, and one of the men from the van will drop down and then track. So a member of the gang who are selling the narcotics will come around and give him something. So that is like a feedback. I saw it myself. And I put it in the reports I submitted to some of the NDLEA as well as the other security agencies. They know I do submit those informations. And some of them, I discussed them in the papers I presented at various local, national, and international conferences, especially during the community-based lectures or community-based meeting or sensitization meeting or advocacy discussion at the local level, so that to let the community know. Because until and unless the community themselves are willing and ready to take ownership of the security, that is the only way forward for us to achieve, is one of the cardinal principles, is one of the pillars that will lead Nigerian community to succeed in attaining a peaceful Nigeria. And that's what will give the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and all the senior hierarchy in the security agencies to be able to deliver. It's not the responsibility of the President, the governors, the commissioners of police, the commissioners, the commanding officers, GOCs, unit commanders, state commanders, and regional commanders, AIGs, DIGs, directors of the SSS alone. all hands must be on deck. Everybody have a responsibility to play.
Okay, sir.
So these are some of the few things that I can outline for now.
Okay, so all you have outlined now, do we say it's historical? Is a historical systemic disconnect, or is it recent failures?
Well, we can call it both. We can call it the system failure in bulk, and we can digest it to be historical link and antecedents, because it has a history. If you look at like the case of Bandaki, it started like a joke, like a play, as a simple conflict between herders and farmers. And then was also a collaboration and partnership between the officers from the police, the prosecutors, aligning with the registrars, the court personnel, including the judges in many cases. And then the traditional leaders, the political leaders, the political authority, and so on and so forth. And when you look at the Boko Haram, it started by like joke, and then it was promoted by killing their leader, who was apprehended live, Mohammed Yusuf. He was apprehended, arrested live, but they went and killed him. So these have provoked the members and have given the opportunity for even our international bilateral and multilateral enemies to collaborate and partner, as well as the arm producing companies, because they want to make markets. So they are inducing the crisis and the crimes, because that's the only way they can make markets. That's the only way they can make sales. And it creates enablers also for the illegal miners, from both within, outside, and within the country, outside the country, within the government and outside the government, coupled with issues of rising number of unemployment and inability of the leadership to be just, and then inability to manage our porous border very well, as well as inability to have the conduct of free and fair elections, especially at the macro level, the political what, the polling units, the local government, and so on and so forth. Inability to give federal allocation to the local government directly, where governors are taking authority of those resources and diverting it, and nobody is checking. And then when the security personnel realize that you spend 25 years in service, 35 years, 30 years, and when you resign, you have nothing beside your pension, your gratuity, it will take you a long time. So they also join queue of siphoning resources, breaking rules, participating in illegalities related to supply and procurement aspects. They started registering companies. They own Beirut changes, they own construction companies, and so on and so forth, which are all against the ethics of their profession. But now they have taken ownership of most of the procurement activities. You find their girlfriends, their wives' names, their children's names as the directors of the companies. Many of those companies don't exist. And even if they exist, you realize that it is a child that is at the back of the mother that is one of the directors. So they connive. So they also outline, so these are part of the historical antecedents, and this, as well as inability of the anti-graft agencies like EFCC, ICPC, Code of Conduct, and so on and so forth, to hold people accountable and responsible for the resources that they cannot account for. Because you find one of the young officers, either in the army, either in the navy, either in the air force, either in the police, either a mobile police, either a custom or so, possess what the DG or the chief of defense staff doesn't have. Why did he or she get the money? And this money is being deposited in banks. So it also have a linkage with the historical antecedents, because the banking sector, the financial institutions are not providing intelligence. Those financial intelligence are not being provided as accordingly. And at the same time, the issues of money laundering, people were taking money to near and far neighborhood in order to buy properties. Gone are the days. In the present days, they buy the properties in Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna, Port Harcourt, Aba, Enugu, and so on and so forth. And nobody is checking. So these are the linkages, the historical perspective.
Local communities or close communities. You work closely with, communities, especially in difficult terrains. What would you say you've observed firsthand about how communities perceive security agencies today?
Well, I want to tell you that the communities at the hard-to-reach and difficult terrain, or the so-called macro levels, around our forests, around our partial thick forests, because as far as I'm concerned, we don't have any thick forests in Nigeria, compared to many other forests I have visited in other parts of the world. I have been to 48 countries in my 23 to 25 years on this job.
Wow.
I've been to many Asian countries. I was in Afghanistan, India, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and so on and so forth. And I've been to many of the East African countries and Central Africa, as well as West Africa. I have been to 48 countries in this job. And I believe, from what I saw, there is nothing like forest in Nigeria. There is nothing like thick forest. But nevertheless, because the criminals are moving freely, like you walk around in your office. Let me even give you a more closer example. Like your children walk around within their family house. Or like a footballers play around at the football ground.
Amazing.
So the criminals are all over, they are there. That's why I
No,
keep telling
they are
people
not threatened in any way.
Nobody is checking them. They move around even some of the formations of the security brackets. Many of the military formations are available in Zamfara. Many of those security military and paramilitary formations are available in Kebbi, Sokoto, Katsina, Niger, what do you call it, Yobe, Bauchi, Borno, and the rest. And it also exists in the areas of South, and Southeast, and even the Southwest, and North Central. So the criminals, where they move around. If you go to Katsina, let me take one local government, for example. If you go to Kurfi local government in Katsina State, there is a ward, political ward, called Wuruma. Between the headquarters of that Wuruma political ward, you can glance the criminals. They come around, they buy what they want to buy, or they force people to give them what they want. And they move around, you see them anytime. So the community members are used to seeing them. And at the same time, we also see the formations of the security here and there. So they are moving freely unchecked and unchallenged. And in most cases, there are incidences, which even though we may not have, I don't have evidence, but I'm saying it because I have heard it from many communities I conduct surveys, that there are incidences whereby the criminals will ask water or salt or recharge card from the formations of the security. Sometimes they send members of the public, of the communities, to go to certain formation of the security and collect a recharge card or matches or cigarette or things like that. Common things. And they will come and say, Mr. A says, I need this. Go to the areas of Sabon Bindi, Isa, Goronyo in Sokoto State. Go to many areas of Shinkafi, Zurmi, Kauranamo, the Bindi Magaji in Zamfara State. Go to many areas of Kankara, Dan Musa, Matazu, Musawa, Paskari, Sabua, Dandime, Futua, in Katsina State, and many more. They are there. They move as free as you move. They move as free as the footballer and referee move around a football ground. They are not in any hidden place. They are not hiding themselves. They are part of the communities. And they are not foreigners. They are indigenous. We know them. We know their parents. I appreciate that I have been discussing this since 2011, that I know them, I know where they are, I know who they are. And I know government or the security agencies know that I know they know them, and I know they know where they are, and I know they know who they are. To make it very clear that I know the security agencies operating in each of the local government where these atrocities are taking place, they know the criminals. They know where the criminals are. They know who are the criminals, and they know how the criminals move around. It's just like a kind of common collaboration, waiting for the criminals to touch them. The criminals move around. They move around the corner to go to the communities, do their massacre, and come back within the distance of less than half a kilometer. And they move unchecked, unchallenged. A member of the Senate, a senator, stood up last week and affirmed what I have been saying before the Senate president. He made mention very clear that we know the criminals, we know who they are, we know where they are, and we know what they want. The clip is there on YouTube. It's simple. During plenary, he made mention this. Many times the forested governor have affirmed this. Several times, Katsina State governor have affirmed this. Many other distinguished personalities, traditional and religious leaders have affirmed what I have been clamoring. I have been discussing it since 2011. And up till now is my position. 99.9% of those who are committing the atrocities in Northwest, Northeast, and North Central, South, Southwest are citizens of Nigeria and indigenes of those local governments where they came from. The traditional leaders, the religious clerics, both the Christian and Muslims, the politicians, political appointees, elected politicians, they know them, they relate with them, and they have their phone numbers, and they communicate. Sometimes they provide them with support, even though I don't have evidence. But I have heard it from the many communities that I conduct survey. But all I know, it is practical that I know the security formations, the security personnel on ground. They know the criminals, they know where the criminals are, they know who are the criminals. And the criminals move as free as air. As free as a footballer or a referee move around on a football ground. You know, when a referee wants to monitor and want to have a good report, he has to move, and nobody will say, no, I'm number 11, I'm number 2, so I'm captain, don't come around. No. So as the referee move around freely, that's how the criminals move freely within the communities. It is happening in South, in Southeast, in Northwest, in North Central, and Northeast, and Southwest. They know I know.
That's so bold.
And they know I know they know them. And I'm reaffirming it, and that's my position.
Okay, so
there are arm importers who may be almost 100% foreigners. Arm importers. You can say up to 80 to 100% they are foreigners. But arm movers, arm transporters, and arm traders, more than 80% of them are Nigerians. And they are known, even though government is doing a lot of efforts in curtailing the arm proliferation and handling the arm dealers as well as the arm traders. But it is being very, very difficult to manage the arm importers, simply because our borders are porous. Simply because there is no good border management, and there are no good working relationship in terms of generating intelligence, utilization of intelligence at the borders, especially as our unmanned borders.
So you say we've not paid much
attention
to our borders.
Central, Northwest, and Northeast, when you say unknown gunmen, I used to laugh. Who are the unknown gunmen? There are none. Why do you have to deceive any? Who are you going to deceive? And we know you know them, and you know we know them, and we know you know who they are and where they are, and we know you know we know who they are and where they are. So why are you telling us? Why are you deceiving Nigerians and saying that unknown government? Who told you? Why do you say they are unknown? They are none. It is either because we have a weak government, or because we have a weak policy, or we don't even have policy for fighting the insurgency. Standard policy. Each state is working on its own. In some cases, some local governments are even initiating their own policy to have a dialogue with the criminals and then allow the criminals to go back with their arms and so on and so forth. Our military are being demoralized and our security personnel are being demoralized because of the political interference, because of how politicians are working hard to politicize the security, because they don't take hard decisions, because in most cases, issues related to security meetings, they send their deputies. If it is local government chairman, will send his vice chairman. If it is governor, will send the deputy governor, who cannot take decision on his behalf, because they don't really take the life and property of other people besides them and their girlfriends, boyfriend, and immediate family serious. They move with escorts. Why do you have to move with escort if you really know that you are delivering? And also within the government, there are those who are being alleged that they are participating among the political appointees of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There are some who have been alleged over the years, over the 2 to 3 years that the president has been in the commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There are people who are being alleged that they are participating, or they are collaborating, or they are partnering with the criminals committing offenses in the northeast, in the north central, in the northwest, in the south, southeast, and wherever in Nigeria. So we expect the president to disengage them, let them be investigated thoroughly, and allow the investigating agencies to conduct the investigation. If they are found wanting, they should face the rules of the law. That what will serve as a lesson, as a deterrence for others to be careful. And if they are not found wanting, those who presented the allegation, they should be brought to book to justify the allegation. If they don't have evidence, they should also be held responsible and accountable, and they should also be presented before the law to face the rest of the law. But we still commend the president for outlining 7 things in the recent days. Removing the escort and guards from the VIPs is very, very important. Making the presidential declaration of state of emergency on security is very, very important. Marching order, statement for marching order to all the appointed service chiefs and head of parastatals, security-related parastatals is very, very important. Partnering, collaborating, and moving closer to the foreign powers in order to advocate for their support to Nigeria to bring an end to this menace is very, very important. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu deserves all the commendation, deserves all the salutes, deserves all the respect from Nigerians. Those 7 outlined things, even if are the only things that he achieved during his 4 years, he deserves re-election. I'm not a politician, but I think it is very, very important for us to tell ourselves the blunt truth. But those things cannot be achieved without fighting corruption, without fixing our judiciary that is immense, without addressing the issue of compromises, without addressing the issue of complicity, without taking bold position on informers. and without taking a bold position on managing the armed proliferations, armed importers, armed traders, armed movers, and armed transporters. It's not about arresting. Yes, you arrest. Where is the feedback from the arrest? What happened? What is the source of those arms for those who were apprehended? Where do they buy it? What is the source? How are the criminals? How do you break into the supply chain mechanism of the criminals, of the bandits, of the IPOB, of the Boko Haram, of the ISOP, of the Ansaru, of the Lakura, of Mahmuda, and so on and so forth? How are you managing, forcing the financial institutions to provide necessary intelligence without fear or favor? So those who are found wanting, abusing the regulations of the financial regulations, to be dealt with accordingly. Until and unless we are ready to do those things, that's the only way forward.
Think that,
until we are ready to have a credible election at the local government. Once we cannot have credible election in Nigeria, there will never be peace in Nigeria. This I guarantee you. Because it's part of this, the great ingredients that are imputing and creating more havoc and making it more difficult for Nigeria to manage the security challenges within the nation.
Sir, some citizens believe that security agencies respond slowly or inconsistently. What structural reform would you recommend? Do you believe will happen to be able to improve the response and efficiency of our security agencies?
I believe it will happen for several reasons. And there are several outlined things to do if at all we want to change the narrative in that respect. One, holding people accountable for the authority and responsibility they are given. Two, use of reward and punishment without fear or favor. Three, changing the way and manner we conduct our recruitment, training, promotion, posting, demotion, discipline, and so on and so forth, to revive the ethical value, the lost ethical value, the lost glory of the Nigerian army, the lost glory of the DSS, the lost glory of the Nigerian police, the lost glory of Nigerian custom, the lost glory of Nigerian civil defense, the lost glory of Nigerian immigration, the lost glory of all the security agencies that we have. We must go back and check ourselves. What are we really doing wrong?
Okay.
And four, to have a kind of SWOT analysis, assessment. SWOT and assessment to understand the strengths, the weakness, the opportunity, the threat.
Let's cut you at that point, please. We just need to go for a quick break at this point. We'll return shortly. Please just hang in and stay with us.
Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
as always, it's a pleasure to have you. Join us here on Global Morning. I'm Uyi Alpha.
You know how we do it on Teacher Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss, and of course...
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
A joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on...
Men can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as
a numerous committee about more than 12 committees.
Face to Face is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to
World leaders in United
Welcome
Nigeria. I have
to
a guest.
Entertainment Circle. And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television.
Turn Up Zone is that platform where we bring young and talented artists.
Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV Channel 365, on Star Times Channel 276.
very much for still being here with us. We're still on the conversation, insecurity, restoring hope of citizens, of course, on our insecurity drama going on in recent times. And then we're talking with Dr. Getzo Yahuza. Sir, are you there with us?
And then number 5, the welfare of the personnel.
Okay.
If you go to most of the barracks,
okay,
Army barrack, Navy barrack, Air Force barracks, you will cry.
Wow.
When you go there and you see the condition they are living in a very horrible conditions. And at the same time, you need to improve the welfare, provide their salaries and allowances as a going and provide them with a good package. Somebody cannot be having a sleepless night, staying away from his wife and children for 3 months, for 6 months. And the person cannot have a good salary, cannot even have the salary on time, cannot guarantee the future of his children, cannot guarantee the safety of his own wife. Go and see how congested the barracks are, even in Abuja. Go and see, even in Abuja and Lagos, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Kano, and all of these are major cities. First, there must be a motivation. They must be taken care of. They must be provided with an excellent salary, allowances, educational allowances, medical allowances, physical fitness allowances, other allowances, family care allowances, and then they must be provided with an excellent accommodation. You see, it's only in Nigeria and many other third world countries where you see somebody who will serve the country for 35 years, and at the same time he has to come and demonstrate to protest because he has not been paid his gratuity and pension, and even the pension is meager. How much is the pension of the Major General? How much? And how much time a Major General spends? And what are the risks and hazards he crossed through before he became the Major General? Likewise, the Commissioners of Police, the Deputy Commissioners of Police, the IGs, the AIGs, the DIGs, and so on and so forth. We must find a way of compensating them. Their welfare is very, very essential. And number 6, surveillance and equipment. We must intensify efforts on improving our surveillance system, information generation and utilization, as well as our operations. And finally, we must fix our judiciary by addressing corruption at all levels. Not only in the judiciary, the corruption is all over. So all hands must be on deck for us to achieve. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you for that. Sir, you're known for your expertise in community-driven development. How can communities become genuine partners, especially those that really want to collaborate with the government when it comes to national security? How can those that are in those communities lend their own efforts?
Well, one, the community have to work within themselves. The Nigerian community, and the polling unit, and the political watch. There should be an engagement of volunteers, especially youth, between the age of 17 to 25 to 30, for their capacity to be built on intelligence and common security, basic security components, to know how to generate intelligence, to who to the social intelligence, and also rebuild their confidence, to have a community-driven initiative, community-driven, community-owned, and for the community to take the full ownership. So those security agencies to be wholly responsible by the community themselves, to be reporting the security personnel, both men and officers,
And for the seniority, the hierarchy, to be taking it very serious and be handling it very serious. Because sometimes we generate information, we get information, but we don't take it serious.
Thank you very much, sir.
That is one. And two, there is need for the community to know that they are the first soft target of the criminals. So the relationship between the security and the community must be enhanced, must be improved, must be coordinated, must be reorganized, must be revisited.
Thank you.
And not small.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. It's definitely an ongoing conversation that we cannot exhaust right now. Our time is fast spent, and we need to, have a reschedule to come address the situation. Hopefully, before we do, all of this will come to an end. But as long as it still lingers, we'll keep talking about it. Thank you, Dr. Getso, for the insight. Thank you for coming to share your wealth of experience with us. We look forward to having you again and again.
Thank you for having me. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you, sir. Okay, to our viewers, like we said, or like I said, it's an ongoing conversation. We're trusting that all of this will become a story in no time. But remember, security is a shared responsibility. It's the effort of you, it's the effort of myself, and everyone around you, not just to our security agencies alone. So we all have a role to play as citizens, as leaders, as parents, as institutions. This has been Discourse, and thank you so much for your time. Until I come your way again, have an amazing day.